Coming from the north, south, east, west. Hold your nose and take a deep breath. Bless, recess. Mics 3 times a day, 3 times a night. It all equals subliminal sequels. Strictly laughing at MCs. Lyrics be running something that ran more than 10 G's. Niggas be like, oh, she changed her style up. Shut the fuck up. You're still a dick rider. Sorry. It'd be nice if I could spit rhymes again, but I keep forgetting. That was a little bit of Red Man's Pick It Up, Pick It Up. And I will proceed to pick it up. Let me get it together. Welcome everybody. It's a Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the place where we set oppression ablaze. So deeply appreciative you guys have made some time to come hang out with me on this evening. Thanks to all who apparently I just got a notification for my own show. That shit never happens on YouTube app. I never get notifications for Burn It Down with Kim Brown. So maybe they took me off timeout. I don't know. Did y'all get a notification? Some of you guys have amazing attendance and don't need notifications because you know what time it is. So to you, I say thanks all so much. I've got a good show for y'all today. And I don't have anything to say about Trump and them today. I think a lot is already being said. Okay. Let me just say this. It's not as funny when he's actually president, right? Anyway, I found way more entertainment value and humor in the things that Trump and co did pre becoming the new Reich, the Third Reich, the Fourth Reich, as it were, before the Fourth Reich came into power. I said, oh, they're not funny no more. But then as I'm looking back at history, Hitler also was widely regarded as a buffoon. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing okay. Hold on. Did I see some money? Hold on. Before we get rolling. Did I imagine money? I might have imagined money. If I did, then ignore me. Don't worry about me. I'll keep rolling. But I thought I saw, but maybe I didn't saw what I thought I saw. All right, y'all. So you all know that one of the lanes that I like to drive in these YouTube streets is about Black women. And one thing, Black women in particular, Black people broadly, but as it relates to America, and we're seeing the dismantling and the dissolution of constitutional rights, civil rights, and again, to the extent that Black folks, Indigenous folks, brown folks, to the extent that we ever had these rights as first-class citizens at any point during this country's existence is arguable, right? Many would say we've never even had the full rights of citizenship. I can assure you, for Black women and Indigenous women, that standard of second-class citizen falls to like third and fourth-class citizenship, right? And when it comes to the ability for Black women to defend themselves against attackers, both known and unknown, it is quite obvious and very painfully clear that Black women do not have the right to defend our lives and to defend ourselves from great bodily harm. I want to bring this story to you all, and some of you all may be familiar with the story, some of you may not be. So let's go to Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to the little sister, the young sister Amber, who does the remix morning shows on Friday. She said, "Make easy money, pimping hoes in style, Tennessee." I said, God damn, them South niggas are so smooth. Shout out to 8-Ball MJG. Shout out to the whole Trey 6 Mile. Shout out to everybody representing Tennessee. Shout out to Nat A up in this bitch. We got a whole Tennessean up in here with us. So anyway, March the 12th, everybody. March 12th of this year. Memphis is a tough little town. It's like down South Baltimore. Like, don't fuck around, right? So this pastor, whose name is Pastor Ricky Floyd, who is a very well-known pastor in the Memphis area. I just had the name of his church on the tip of my tongue. It's one of those very long names of churches, like Yo Nigga in Jesus Transformation Church in Christ. I don't know what the name of the church was, and that's not to blaspheme or be disrespectful. Jesus know I love him and shit, but like, he's a pastor of a church there in Fraser, specifically in the part of Memphis, right? March 12th, Pastor Ricky Floyd was tragically gunned down in the parking lot of Mama's Bar and Kitchen, which is located in South Memphis on the corner of Kentucky Street and E.H. Crump. Okay. And it was about 1 a.m., a little after 1 o'clock. And apparently Pastor Ricky Floyd, as part of his ministry, it was not uncommon for him to show up at Memphis area clubs and bars because he was there, proselytizing. He's there preaching the word of Jesus. I don't even object to that. If you're going to be a Christian pastor and you want souls or sinners or whatever you out there trying to recruit to Jesus, to God, okay, yeah, go out to the club so long as you're not in the club, pastor, like some of these low down clergy be. But it didn't appear as though Pastor Ricky Floyd was a dirtbag in that respect. However, on this particular evening of March 12th, what Memphis police allege is that the pastor was inside of Mama's Bar and Kitchen, where he got into a discussion. He was in there passing out, coming to Jesus flyers and stuff. And he got into a discussion about the Bible with a group of 3 friends who were hanging out together. I'm trying to discern. I believe that the dynamic of the friend group was 2 women and 1 man. Apparently, the conversation got heated, and police alleged that Pastor Ricky Floyd took the phone of one of the friends in this group, threw their phone through a can of beer, and there was words exchanged. One report even alleges that Pastor Ricky Floyd may have put hands on the male member of the friend group, the friend trio, right? So the pastor exits the bar. Some of this is allegedly caught on the establishment's closed circuit surveillance video, right? So as Pastor Ricky Floyd is leaving Mama's Bar and Kitchen, one of the members of the friend group, whose name is Samantha, goes outside and she's recording him because she wants to get his plate number, okay? For reasons I'm not quite sure. I don't know if she intended to report the incident to the police. I don't know what her intent was, but she wanted to identify the pastor via his plate. And that is where the situation kind of took a turn. And I want us to look at the package from the local TV outlets there. And then we have some video that was allegedly shot by the woman who is now charged with murder of Pastor Ricky Floyd. Now, let me say a couple things before we show this tape. To be clear, this man and this woman were strangers. They were not known to one another. Apparently, this kind of story exploded on Facebook, and people were making a lot of wild accusations that perhaps this woman was his mistress, or that there was something untoward between them, or their relationship dynamic. That has been debunked by not only the women's attorneys, but police as well, that Samantha and Pastor Ricky Floyd did not know each other, had never exchanged words with each other until that night. So I want you to know this woman is now charged with voluntary manslaughter. This woman just received a bond and has just recently been let out of jail until her next hearing. But I want you guys to tell me whether or not she even belongs in fucking jail. Whether or not she even belongs in jail. I already know the answer. I want to know what y'all got to say. And I already know what y'all going to say. But let's watch, and you guys can get more information about the story. Let's take a look.
Breaking news on your news leader at 4 today. We're learning more about what may have happened to a well-known pastor who died in the streets of Memphis early this morning. Pastor Ricky Floyd was shot and killed outside a South Memphis bar and kitchen. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Alex Coleman.
And I'm April Thompson. We're just getting information in from police this afternoon. An affidavit says 3 people, including a woman who is now charged, got into an argument with Pastor Floyd. It goes on to say that a video from Mama's Bar and Kitchen shows Floyd threw the suspect's phone to the ground along with the beer can.
Now, police say he started to drive away but got out and walked toward her. Then she reportedly moved toward Floyd, and that's when police say he walked backwards away from her and then fell to the ground. Of course, this has all sent shockwaves all across Memphis and the Mid-South.
Indeed, those in the community as well as other pastors are responding hours after learning the man who preached nonviolence is one of the city's latest victims of violence.
Crime scene tape blowing violently in the wind marks the spot where a violent attack happened overnight. It was just after 1 a.m. when police were called here to Mama's Bar and Kitchen at the corner of Kentucky Street and E.H. Crump Boulevard. Listen as dispatch relays information from Broadcastify.
It was involving a female shooting a male who was constantly approaching her in an aggressive manner.
Police, along with other first responders, soon arrived, but there was nothing they could do. This ambulance sat idle as the man shot was never rushed away from the scene. Instead, this is where he was pronounced dead. The victim, we learned, is Pastor Ricky Floyd, the senior lead pastor of Pursuit of God Transformation Center in Fraser.
I don't know what to say. A pastor would be slaughtered. It's just rare, and I guess it's rare, but it seems to be an occurrence that's happening more often.
A manager here at Mama's Bar and Kitchen told us off camera this did not happen inside the establishment. They're also telling us it happened once they closed up. She wanted to make that clear. However, what's unclear is what prompted the deadly shooting. A source with first-hand knowledge of the case says there was a dispute between Pastor Floyd and a woman later identified as Samantha Marion. The source goes on to say the pastor threw her phone before things spilled into the streets and then spiraled out of control, ending with Samantha Marion allegedly shooting and killing the pastor. She has since been charged with voluntary manslaughter, a killing in which someone is said to have acted in the heat of passion. While police continue piecing together what happened, there's a community far and wide grappling with grief.
To all of those in Memphis and Shelby County and throughout the country and throughout the world that had the chance to encounter this brother's life and ministry. So it's definitely a time to mourn.
For your news leader in South Memphis, Jarita Patterson, WREG News Channel 3.
And that police affidavit says the suspect, 42-year-old Samantha Marion, admitted to the shooting. She's charged with voluntary manslaughter and is set to be in court tomorrow. And earlier today, Dr. Keith Norman, pastor of First Baptist Church Broad, spoke with us about his colleague and good friend.
While he was a great preacher, the staple of his mark on the city of Memphis would be his love and care for people and innovative approach to doing ministry outside of the pulpit and outside of the 4 walls of the church. He was strongly committed to that, and I'm prayerful that we will remain focused in that area and keep that legacy alive.
He went on to say Pastor Floyd was an advocate and his voice will remain.
And we do want to let you know we will have Team 3 coverage throughout the evening here on News Channel 3 on this shooting that has captured the attention of the Mid-South. At 4:30, we'll look back at Pastor Floyd's history of helping people in our community. Then on the news at 5, you'll hear how the Heal the Hood Foundation benefited from his work. And at 6, another prominent man of the cloth who has worked with Pastor Floyd for decades speaks with us.
I'm backing back 3 times now. When I do that, you know, please back the back. I'm telling you, bitch. You know what?
Quite a contrast between the final moments of Pastor Ricky Floyd's life versus the very laudable things that members of his community had to say about him in the wake of his passing. And let me just say this, you know, me as a person, we as a platform extend our condolences to the pastor and his family and his church community. And I want to say also that nobody is perfect. Nobody has perfect control over themselves, their emotions at all times. We all have a bad day. However, if I'm a woman and a man has already been aggressive to me twice in a short time span, allegedly taking Samantha Marion's phone while inside of the bar and throwing it. And then, as you saw in the video, and Will, I might ask you to re-rack the second video and run it back in just a couple of moments here. So, because I think you kind of have to look at it a couple times. Well, I did for obvious reasons, as y'all can deduce, but y'all might want to look at it more than once yourselves, okay? Because what you see is obviously someone filming a white Chevy Tahoe, and you see the Chevy Tahoe put its brake lights on, stop, and you see a man, a large man, might I add, a man that is clearly over 6 feet tall, clearly over 200 pounds, exit his vehicle, hike his pants up like he ready for some fucking action. And I don't mean, you know, fun action. I mean, throw them hands action. I don't know, aggressive action. His whole movement was aggressive. And I'm assuming you hear off camera, you hear the woman who is believed to be Samantha Marion, the 42-year-old woman who is now charged with shooting this pastor. By the way, guys, Samantha is alleged to have only fired one shot. When the ambulance got on the scene, the ambulance didn't even take him to the hospital because she popped him one time and he was done. I just wanted to throw that in there. But his final moments, unfortunately, were not the pastor's finest moments because he looked scary. He looked like someone that was coming to, at minimum, confront aggressively a woman holding a cell phone. And the police allege that Samantha Marion went to her vehicle, retrieved her pistol or retrieved her handgun and had it behind her back. And I don't understand what the fuck that has to do with any fucking thing. And I'm going to tell you why. Part of the reason why Samantha Marion, I'm assuming when police arrived on the scene, why, according to that news report, that she openly admitted to what she did is because Tennessee, as you guys can imagine, is a stand your ground state. If you, as a person in the state of Tennessee, as in a lot of these stand your ground states, my state is not a stand your ground state, but in stand your ground states, if you believe that you are about to experience great bodily harm or someone is about to unalive you, or you believe that someone is about to unalive someone else or cause great bodily harm to another, you're allowed to intervene and use deadly force. In the state of Tennessee, Tennessee is also open carry, no permit, baby. Nat A, tell them about it. tell them how they sell the pistols at the Publix in fucking Tennessee, right? You don't need no permit. Open carry, no concealed carry. Samantha Marion was well within her legal rights to possess a firearm. She was well within her legal rights to have a firearm on her person. She was well within her legal rights to stand her fucking ground. Okay. And to be clear, this lady didn't know this man. This lady, she might have knew he was a pastor after he had told her, after try to, do his little evangelical spiel in the bar at 1 a.m. Okay, pastor. All right. But she didn't know him. It doesn't seem like she knew him, despite Pastor Ricky Floyd being a well-known person in the Memphis area. In fact, so well-known, his community work is so deep there. The Shelby County District Attorney had to recuse himself because of a personal and, public relationship that they had with Pastor Ricky Floyd. And now this case is going to be tried by another prosecutor from another part of the state. But I challenge you guys, if Samantha Marion had been a white woman and a very large black man was running up on her meaning business and she'd have pulled out and shot, do you think the white woman would be charged with anything? Even if a white woman had shot another white man, it's a little bit more dicey. The white woman might have been charged because, you can't take out the A1s, without an inquiry, an investigation. But when it comes to black women defending themselves either against predators or abusers that they know, like an intimate partner, like a spouse, or versus strangers, as in this case, black women are not given the benefit of the doubt. The laws pertaining to stand your ground, the whole, I got a right to carry, the whole 2A or the highway crowd, always mighty, mighty silent when it's a black woman using her Second Amendment constitutional right in order to defend and protect her life. And the only thing I can take away is, I guess she was supposed to let the man put hands on her. I guess she was supposed to let the man slap her, punch her, kick her, strangle her. Who knows what his intentions were? But the message that black women continually receive, remember, I covered a story here recently from Northern Virginia, Prince William County, a murder case that's pending from a black woman, LaToya Crabb, who shot and killed her husband after she said that he threatened to kill, quote, everybody in the house, and allegedly charged at her with a knife. She shot him dead. They charged her with first-degree murder. So what is the message, kids? What's the takeaway from the legal justice system, from the criminal justice system? Black women, you have to be harmed before you can defend yourself. You have to bleed. You have to be bruised. You have to be hit. You got to be stabbed. You must be shot. What's the message here? Like a black woman, you cannot be uninjured and claim self-defense. You got to get beat the fuck up before you can claim self-defense. Nah, Joe. Nope. We're not subscribing to that, kids. Not subscribing to that. This woman, Samantha Marion, does not deserve to be in jail. Again, she's 42 years old. She's a mother of 4. Up until just a couple of days ago, she was being held on a $100,000 bond that a judge refused to lower, claiming that she was a threat to the public, that she was a public safety threat. Isn't that amazing? Somehow, a black woman hanging out at a bar, minding her fucking business, when a man wants to engage her, mind you, right? Because that's his whole reason for being there, to try to convert others, to evangelize, to minister the gospel. That he obviously engaged her, didn't like what she said, became belligerent, obviously had no control over his own emotions. And by the way, that was something that was running through my head as I was looking at that video. Will, you got the second shorter clip ready to go? Let's look at the video one more time.
I'm backing back 3 times now. When I do that,
Please.
back the back. Back. I'm telling you, bitch. You know what?
The very sexist rhetoric coming from the manosphere generally, this is shit that men have said about women forever, right? Is that women are so emotional. Women don't have any control over their feelings. Or you can't let a woman be president because she get on her period, she's gonna hit the button, she's gonna blow everything up. Sure thing, buddy. Right? It's the women that are in danger of sending us all into a nuclear holocaust. Of course. But that is the first thing I thought of. I said, look at this man, even though he's not saying anything, his whole body body language shows that he is a bit unhinged. And I hear this woman in a calm, steady voice telling him, I done told you 3 times now, back up, back up. That it doesn't get more matter of fact than that. It doesn't get more. I'm giving you a very clear verbal warning. I've told you 3 times now, back up. I got to tell you again. And this man couldn't control himself. He had no discipline over himself. The pastor, no discipline over his rage and his reactions at the thought of this woman either besting him in some sort of religious debate, or the audacity that she must have had to think that she was going to record his information, get his vehicle tag number, and maybe cause some harm to his reputation. But I was having a conversation earlier, and you know, if it had been one of them YNs out there, right? let it have been one of them young soldiers out there, even by itself, right? If that had been a 42-year-old man, you think Pastor was getting out of his truck to run up on some dude like that in Memphis, where the guns go click clack? You know what I'm saying? In open carry states like Tennessee, like Indiana, like Virginia, where else they open carry? Every fucking where, in Florida, Texas. The expectation must be that everybody is strapped with something. And if you don't move accordingly, I don't know what to tell you. And listen, that is absolutely an indictment of how bloodthirsty and violence obsessed and gun obsessed that American culture is. It is all those things, okay? And in order to survive American society being those things, you have to move accordingly. And you cannot be out here running up on people in any fucking where, but especially in open carry states, and thinking that the shit's going to be sweet. And what I'm afraid for Samantha Marion is that, again, like so many of women, period, especially those that are locked up and incarcerated, as y'all have pointed out to me in the chat, there's some TikTok accounts that I followed that actually work with women who are both incarcerated and who are recently released. And all of them, y'all, I mean, such a high percentage of women who are in jail are there because they said enough and stood up to their abuser. The ones that are there for like murder or attempted murder, they said enough. I'm not dealing with this. And they take matters into their own hands. And for this woman, you know, this was not a domestic violence situation. This was a stranger in the street situation. What I'm hoping, and let me say this, because this going to sound fucked up, and I'm not intending it to sound fucked up, but it is what it is. So Pastor Ricky Floyd, again, I told you guys, this kind of what he does, meaning that he is known to go to Memphis area clubs and bars during the late night let out hours and try to preach to people. And I've watched a couple of his videos where he said God woke him up at 2 a.m. to go down here to the club and talk to these young men. Okay, cool. I mean, what I'm hoping, and this is going to sound like that, but maybe God used this man as an example. Don't be running the fuck up on women. Don't be getting women fucked up out here. I'm hoping that this man's legacy in his work throughout his community, promoting nonviolence and being against gun violence, will definitely be remembered and memorialized. But I'm hoping that the takeaway that can come from his untimely death is do not get women fucked up out here. Don't think that just because you got 8 inches and 100 pounds on a woman that you can just come on up here and puff up, talk all the shit, be as aggressive as you want. Again, Samantha Marion had no idea what this man was about to do to her. And guess what? I applaud her for not waiting around to find the fuck out. You told him to back up. He undoubtedly had to realize she had the thing on her, the too late. What you thought was going to happen Pastor Ricky Floyd. Again, I'm sorry this man is gone. At the same time, I hope that any man that would even think of being physically confrontational with a woman who is not being physically confrontational with you, I hope that the lesson that can be taken away from this man's death, it is not a murder, by the way, definitely not a murder. What could be taken away from this man's death is that women can and should and will defend themselves. And if Samantha Marion, again, has to be judged by 12 rather than carried by 6, then that is what it's going to be. And if you live in Shelby County, and if you know people that live in Shelby County, Black women in particular, all women in particular, but Black women in particular, I need you to please make sure that you are on the voter rolls so that way you will be counted as a potential eligible juror in what will inevitably be a trial, because I hope this woman fights this. I hope that she does not accept a plea agreement, and ultimately whatever she and her attorneys decide is going to be the best outcome for her, she's going to do that, I know. But she doesn't deserve a day in jail. She doesn't deserve a day in the fucking penitentiary. Given the laws of her state, giving the parameters and the threat that she was facing down, this lady had every legal right to put one in the pastor, because the pastor was out of fucking pocket. The pastor was being aggressive. The pastor appeared to be out of control. And if it had to be the pastor to serve as an example to the other ones, let it be the Lord's will. And I'm not saying that shit to be facetious nor funny. I'm saying that to be dead fucking ass. Because I'm not sure if God woke that man up at 1 o'clock in the morning and told him to go down to Mama's Barn Kitchen or not. But I would think that God would have wanted his servant to be safe and told him to keep his ass in the house. So maybe it was the devil that woke him up. I'm not certain. But what I do know is that Samantha Marion does not belong in jail. She does not deserve to be charged with voluntary manslaughter. In fact, I would like to know how she got to be such a good goddamn shot. I would like to know these things. So anyway, we will be keeping an eye on this story. The next time Samantha is scheduled to appear in court is going to be early April. So we will keep you posted. But let me tell you this, the motherfucking prosecutor ought to be shook. This prosecutor should not believe that they will be able to secure a jury conviction in Shelby County. Really in no fucking county, okay? And this is why, again, Black people, I don't even know. From what I understand, the Memphis community is a bit divided behind this story, this instance, again, because the pastor does have such a good reputation in the community. At the same time, a lot of people understand and saw the video and feel as though that Samantha Marion had an absolute right to self-defense. And should not be charged. But if they decide to go forward with prosecuting her, we need Black women to pack out the fucking jury pool. So many Black women have experienced violence, not just domestic violence, but gender-based violence. You know what I'm saying? Not only in some of our intimate relationships, many Black women have experienced violence from men we didn't even fucking know, who didn't know us, who just knew that because we were Black women, that they could engage in violence against us in a random public space, and won't shit gonna happen because Black women are not protected, contrary to falsified public opinions. They go, Black women protected. Yes, no one fucking protects Black women. Black women have to protect themselves, which is what Samantha did, and you see she's being punished for it. Like LaToya Crabb in Virginia also being punished for it. We're not going to stand for this, y'all. We're not going to stand for this. I mean, fuck. If the judicial system as an institution is crumbling underneath the Trump administration, well, fuck, maybe we should help it out, to be perfectly honest. Okay. Because I don't subscribe to a system that is going to persecute women for protecting their own lives in the face of clear and obvious threats. That's the kind of justice system that is skewed against me. So therefore, ergo, it is not dispensing justice. It is dispensing justice along a particular hierarchy, along a particular narrative. And Black women don't fit into that hierarchy, nor do we fit into that narrative. A Black woman defending herself was labeled a public safety threat. Go fuck yourself, judge. Anyway, hopefully we can get more information about how best to support Samantha Marion. That's another thing. When these Black women are charged with simply protecting their own lives, I think they're sometimes reluctant to ask for help because innately they know and understand that they believe they're not going to get it. And that's not an unfounded belief, right? Because, for example, when Black women are murdered by the pigs, the crowds that come out are fractions of the size of the ones that come out for some, not all, but some of the Black men whose stories gain prominence. Black women, like I think Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland was amongst the first two that actually brought the people out. But there were so many other, countless others before and since, that folks just don't show up in the same way for Black women. And I know that these Black women who are facing the staring down the literal barrel of the criminal justice system for simply protecting and defending themselves, they know that and they sense that. But I want them to, we need to counter that. We need to prove that wrong, So anyway, we try to make some inquiries to Samantha Marion's legal team, trying to wait for a response. But I'm not, if I find out that she's crowdfunding in any way, or petitions or anything like that, I will be certain to share, because this lady should not spend any time in jail. She should not spend any time away from her family. And while I'm sorry, and again, I keep kind of defaulting to this kind of respectability thing towards the pastor because he was a pastor and he did good work, but he didn't look good in them last minute. That was not a cute scene. It wasn't. That wasn't very pastoral there, Reverend Doctor. You know what I'm saying? You ain't look all that. That's not what Jesus would do right there, sir. So anyway, I'm gonna keep you guys posted on that story. Another story that I wanted to bring you to, as much as I do cops ain't shit stories, I feel like today I have a pair of the courts ain't shit stories and they not shit. So almost 3 years ago, March of 2022, the championship boxer and mixed martial arts fighter, Cain Velasquez. No, yes. Is it Velasquez? Cain Velasquez. I had a brain fart, but you know the brothers, right? So this brother, who is from California, I believe he is of Mexican heritage, but he is an American, just for anybody wondering, because I know there's a lot of questions with our Latino brothers and sisters. But no, Cain was born here. Salinas, California, if I got that right. So anyway, March of 2022, Cain gets locked up. This is a national story. This famed boxer and mixed martial arts fighter was apparently arrested in the San Jose area for shooting at a vehicle and actually injuring one of the persons in the vehicle, shooting one man twice with a .40 caliber gun. Why was this fighter and boxer championship internationally known? Why was this man shooting at a random truck? Well, I want us to go to the story. Let's go to the story from March of 2022, just to kind of bring everybody a bit up to speed, because this is a courts ain't shit and a cops ain't shit story. But it features someone who is very well known. So let's take a listen to this package from 3 years ago.
On NBC, exclusive video shows what appears to be MMA legend Cain Velasquez chasing after the man he allegedly shot. You can see the black SUV chasing that truck. Inside the truck was a man accused of molesting a family member of Velasquez. Now, Velasquez is facing attempted murder charges, and he made his first court appearance today. Here's NBC Bay Area's Robert Honda.
Supporters of UFC star Cain Velasquez crowded in and around the Santa Clara County Courthouse to cheer him on as he gets ready to fight an attempted murder charge. As NBC Bay Area first reported yesterday, the mixed martial arts star was in court today to be formally charged for shooting into an occupied vehicle in South San Jose near Morgan Hill on Monday. This is exclusive video captured on a cell phone camera showing what appears to be Velasquez chasing after the vehicle, which seems to show bullet holes and dents on it. According to court documents, Velasquez rammed the vehicle with his own truck, then while driving, fired a gun aiming at this man, Harry Gallart, who was out on bail after being charged with molesting a young child at a San Martin daycare center. The documents confirm the child is a, quote, close relative of Velasquez. Gallart's stepdad was ultimately shot in the arm and treated for a non-life-threatening injury. Gallart's sister, who was also in the vehicle, identified Velasquez as the gunman. He was later spotted by police and arrested without incident.
And it's unfortunate that he took the case into his own hands rather than waiting on the criminal justice system.
In court documents, investigators say Velasquez followed Gallart and his family from their home before the alleged attack. Police recovered a legally registered .40 caliber semi-automatic handgun in Velasquez's truck that had been fired 3 times. Multiple bullet casings were also found at the scene. In court, Velasquez, through his attorney, denied all allegations. His supporters say they plan to be a constant presence during any legal proceedings.
It's all about let's right now focus on getting him out on bail. That's what our focus is right now for him and his family.
Robert Honda, NBC Bay Area News.
The arraignment was put off until Monday. At that time, Velasquez will be officially charged and will also have his bail hearing.
So funny thing about that bail hearing, again, that package is from March 2022. Cain Velasquez didn't get out of jail. In fact, has not been out of jail since. He's been locked up for 3 years following this saga. And as you heard mentioned there in the package, the reason why Cain Velasquez was shooting at this truck is because the man who is alleged to have molested what turns out to be Cain Velasquez's 4-year-old son at the time. Here's what happened. Okay. Harry Gallart, who is the person that Cain Velasquez was shooting at, was a daycare worker at his mother's home daycare in San Martin, California. Okay. Cain Velasquez's then 4-year-old son came to his parents and disclosed that he had been inappropriately touched by this man, Harry Gallart, right? Who again works at his mother's daycare where Cain Velasquez's child was there being attended to. The Velasquezes reported this to police. Harry Gallart was arrested, but he was released on bond. He was not held. He was given an ankle monitor and sentenced to home detention. Here's the problem with home detention. When his home happens to be the same place where children are being kept at his mother's daycare. And apparently, allegedly, Cain Velasquez was aware of this, aware that this man had been released, though, from what I understand, Mr. Velasquez and his wife say that the courts and the cops didn't make him or them aware that their son's alleged abuser was being released on home detention. So I think Cain happened to see Gallart coming out of the home where the daycare is and began a high-speed pursuit of Gallart, his stepfather, and not his sister, but turned out it was his mother who was in the truck with, it was 3 of them in the truck. Cain Velasquez is giving a high-speed pursuit 11 miles. I'm not familiar for, is Rosalba in here? Who's Don Hammond? San Martin, San Jose. What's that look like? 11 miles through them Cali streets. I'm like, God damn, he's chasing somebody for 11 miles in DC. You might as well be 100 miles. Like, it's crazy. And shooting, not the little, not the ping ping, the pow pow, letting that 40 cal block us. And listen, I feel bad that Cain shot the wrong person. I have to say, I don't know if I take too much issue with his actions, but the fact that they were indeed a bit reckless. I don't think it's a good idea generally to be shooting from a moving car into a moving car on public streets. Okay. Cain Velasquez was charged with attempted murder and a couple of other things, but because the judge perceived him as a threat to public safety, sounds familiar, he had been held. He had been denied bond. And in fact, it was Monday, March 24th, that in fact, Cain Velasquez was sentenced. Last year, 2024, he pled no contest to attempted murder. And it was March 24th, 2025, where he was sentenced. He received a 5-year sentence. However, as I told you, he has been sitting in jail for the past 3 years. So he's being credited with 3 years time served, and many legal experts expect that he will probably serve at least one more year before being released, likely not doing the whole 5 years. And here's the thing. Would you like to know what has happened to the man who was accused of allegedly molesting Cain Velasquez's child? Well, he still hasn't gone to trial in these 3 years. There are charges still pending, but he hasn't seen the inside of a jail. Seems as though for many reasons he hasn't really seen the inside of a courthouse. And when people are forced, and I do mean forced literally, when they're forced to take matters into their own hands, because our criminal injustice system and our system of law enforcement is so ineffective against literally protecting the most vulnerable people in our society, women and children, the men who want to be protectors, when they do step up and protect, they are also punished. They are punished. And I think it is so tragic for Cain Velasquez to literally have done 3 years in jail before his son's accuser even goes to trial, let alone serve any punishment behind what he allegedly did to this young boy. Oh, and by the way, other kids at the daycare made similar allegations. But again, the child molesters, still slap on the wrist. Hey, Harry, you're not supposed to be touching on the kids now. Didn't we talk about this? Didn't we talk? Didn't we tell you don't touch on the kids, Harry? We can't leave you alone for a second. All you want to do is touch the boys. You're going to get us in trouble, Harry. Cut it out. I mean, it's too shruggy for child molesters. Niggas, the courts, the parent, everybody be shrugging. And I got to say, hold on, Cain Velasquez, I think he went about this wrong, obviously. Again, I understand the sentiment behind his actions. I disagree, again, with shooting at a moving vehicle, from a moving vehicle, shooting the 40 cal, no less. Cain Velasquez had deadly weapons. He got Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary right here. Okay. And kudos to you if you caught that reference. He got Jack Johnson, Tom O'Leary right here. Cain Velasquez should have beat the dog shit out this man. Should have beat the dog shit out of him. Cain Velasquez could have fucked around and actually hurt somebody innocent. And some might argue that Mr. Gallant's stepfather was innocent. Maybe he was. I don't know. He was. Though also, let me point something out, kind of related but random. In news packages, news stories, period, especially local TV news, when they say the person did not suffer life-threatening injuries, apparently the person who took 2 bullets from Cain Velasquez. This man says that he has like limited to no use of his arm. So it's weird categorization when the news refers to injuries as non-life threatening. Sure, they aren't not life threatening, but they could be life altering, forever life changing. It's just a weird kind of terminology. I just wanted to point that out and just let y'all know that. So anyway, but so send love to Cain Velasquez. I'm pretty sure that the UFC and the whole MMA community has continued to stand by him. I actually even saw a clip. I do not watch Joe Rogan per se. I do not watch Joe Rogan. I if I see clips on TikTok of Joe Rogan, I may, let them marinate for like 20 or 30 seconds. And I did see this clip from Joe Rogan talking about this. And again, expressing tremendous support, saying that Cain did what I imagine most parents, but even specifically most fathers, think that they would do in defense of their kids and in defense of their families. And I know we are taught, we are indoctrinated, dare I say, we are castrated into thinking that, oh, well, you got to let the system play out. You got to let the courts, you got to let it go through the system. But we're inconsistent inconsistent. Jesus, I can't even talk. We are in consensus that the system is fucked, right? The system is unfair. The system routinely gets it wrong. The system routinely allows guilty people to walk and throws innocent people away. Like, we're in agreement that the system is bogus, is garbage. So even when I see a dumb fuck like Trump, a Trump who has a clear agenda for wanting to see the criminal justice system crumble and fall apart, on one hand, I'm like, but he has a point. Even though he's not saying it outright, he is demonstrating it with his flagrant disrespect of the courts and their rulings. But I'm like, but hold on. Is he wrong? Is he wrong? And I know Trump's motivations are 100% self-serving, but I'm thinking even for the greater good, how do the courts, as they currently function, how much of a public good do they really affect? How good of a job does law enforcement do of apprehending literally the worst of the worst, people who would commit harm against kids, against children? Like, how good of a job does law enforcement do of wrangling child molesters versus making sure that anybody with an expired registration sticker gets pulled over with 6 fucking squad cars behind them? You understand? Like, the way that law enforcement is meted out in America is so goddamn lopsided and disproportionate towards traffic enforcement versus actual public safety. And again, I don't think pulling guns off the street is even necessarily public safety, because it's a futile act. 440 million guns on the goddamn street. You're never going to get them all. But I'm willing to venture there are not 440 million rapists, domestic abusers, and child molesters. There's probably way fewer than 440 million. So how about, instead of focusing all the attention on guns and trying to get guns off the street, get the rapists off the street. God damn it. Get the fucking abusers off the street. Get the child molesters off of the street. Protect women, protect kids, protect the disabled, protect trans folks, protect gay folks. Like, stop protecting the sanctity of streets and stop making sure that every vehicle out there has got 2 working brake lights. Like, that shouldn't be the fucking priority. But it just exhausts me when people who are actually moving in the way of justice and righteousness, like Cain Velasquez. Again, I applaud the intention, his mode and his method. I disagree, but the intention was there. You know why? Because assuming that Harry Gallant is guilty of what he's being accused of, and to be clear here, guys, kids 4 years old very seldomly lie about such things. Children that are that small don't usually have the intent formed to tell a falsehood about that, because they don't know, unless they're being properly educated at home necessarily about good touches and bad touches. And maybe this kid did. Maybe that's why this kid was able to articulate to his parents what happened. But I certainly don't think that the child made it up. And where there's smoke, there's fire. If there's one victim coming forward, I assure you there's 5. There's 10 waiting in the wings. And I don't think that any additional allegations have come out officially against this person, but I applaud Cain Velasquez, because if it was his kid today, it's going to be another kid tomorrow. It's going to be a different kid next week. If Cain said he had to put the 40 pew pew in him, the 40 cal pew pew in him to stop him, he was doing what he thought he had to do. And I don't disagree. So when people are defending the vulnerable, or if you are the vulnerable and you're defending yourself, American jurisprudence tells you that you don't have a right to do that. You don't have a right to do that. The parent of the child allegedly being harmed does not have a right to put a stop to it themselves. The child just had to be harmed, right? The woman who is being aggressively confronted physically by the man, I guess she just got to get fucked up before she can draw her weapon in the confidence that she won't be charged with a crime. Like, this is preposterous, you guys. And we have to abandon we have to abandon this way of thinking that shit has to play out through the courts and only the courts can render a just decision. No, the courts render a legal decision, okay? And that is not necessarily justice. So Cain Velasquez will be spending more time in jail behind this, but he is not wrong. Guilty of attempted murder, I think, is fair, but he was not wrong for undertaking the spirit of the actions in which he took. And Samantha Marion, we will be monitoring her case, but they need to drop and dismiss her charges. Shelby County, get y'all black asses register for jury duty, because I need y'all to go acquit this black woman when that shit goes to trial, please and thank you. Let me take a little pause for the course here. Let me take a little breakity break. How's everybody doing out there? Come on in here. Shout out to Cindy. Cynthia says that she likes my haircut. Thank you so much, baby. I appreciate you. What else am I trying to say? What's up to our wonderful mods? What's going on? Come on in here, check in. What's going on to Latif? What's up to Courtney? What's up to Dawn? Afraid Not, my son Tyler. What's up to Anna? What is up to Mama Lorraine? What's up to Learn Life? What's going on, Magnolia D? What's up, DJ Vespa X? What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good week. We are officially into spring. We have made it past the spring equinox. Are we in Aries season? We are. The fire, more fire. Shout out to Aries. Happy birthday, Aries. Happy belated birthday to one Zenzi Bell. It was Zenzi Bell's birthday recently. So happy belated birthday to Zenzi Bell. She is fire fan. We love Zenzi Bell. And what else I got to tell y'all? Thanks to everyone that participated with our March Madness fundraiser. Fell a little short of the goal. just a wee bit. But I'm grateful to everyone that contributed, to everyone that bought merch. Hopefully your merch will be in the mail here real soon. I will double check on everybody's orders, make sure everything is in process and in transit and headed in your direction. Thanks so much to everybody. If you go to the merch link in our channel drop down of all the links and shit, go to the merch. If you're still interested in merch, we're doing 40% off all Burn It Down with Kim Brown merch through March 31st. Merch through March 31st. Just use the code MM40 at checkout, as long as you make a minimum purchase of $35. You gave me hit y'all with my voiceover voice. As long as you make a minimum purchase of $35, just enter the code MM40, and that will qualify you down to a $21 total order. That is before taxes and shipping and handling and all that shit. So anyway, give that a shot. We got some quality stuff here, and the stuff is quality. I wouldn't tell y'all it was and it wasn't. So anyway, Will, do we have any acknowledgments? Did I see any boxes, or was I hallucinating again?
Just the Schultzy one that you acknowledged already, right?
No, I didn't acknowledge Schultzy. What's up, Schultzy?
Yep.
What did Schultzy say?
Schultzy said, "Beautiful haircut."
Hey, thank you, Schultzy.
Yep.
I keep forgetting that y'all. I see myself all the time, and then I'm like, "Why are y'all talking about?" I got this like 2 weeks ago. But right. Thank you guys. What'd you say, Will? I'm sorry.
No, that was it. Please like and subscribe, y'all.
Thank you guys so much. And again, if you want to support the channel, take all the support, baby. We take the free support. So please like the video, engage, subscribe to the channel. You can sign up for channel memberships, $2 a month, patreon.com/BIDWKB, also available for $2 a month. And $ BIDWKB Cash App at BIDWKB Venmo, and paypal.me/BIDWKB if you want to help out the channel generally. Thank you so much. So, my next story, I don't even know if it's a story per se. I just had like a little comment on it because I saw it and I saw it. So let me preface this really quick. Cancel culture, is it a thing or is it not a thing? I'm inclined to believe that cancel culture is not a thing. I think it all depends on who is harmed in the equation of versus whoever's being canceled, right? So if the person being canceled has harmed a person belonging to a group that the greater of society doesn't usually value, I feel as though the person who committed the harm against the vulnerable or marginalized person, and that cancellation, it's likely not going to be permanent. So is it really a cancellation, or is it's timeout time? They put the nigga in timeout for a little bit and then they let the nigga come back and boppity bop and boopity boop. Well, I saw this story about former Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice. And for those that may or may not remember, god damn, has that been over 10 years or right about 10 years ago? Well, look that up for me. When did Ray Rice lay hands upon his then fiance, Janae? What year was that? But anyway, for those of y'all that may or may not remember, in a very infamous video shot inside of an Atlantic City elevator, then Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice, by the way, Ray Rice, who was an all-pro, I believe, like he was that season, Ray Rice was having quite a fucking season. The Ravens are doing very well until the video came out of a confrontation in an Atlantic City elevator between Ray Rice and his fiance. And Ray Rice is seen literally cold cocking this black woman, his fiance, punching her with a closed fist at least twice in the face, knocking her unconscious. And then he dragged her unconscious body out of the elevator and back to their hotel room. And it was only because the incident had been caught on video in the elevator that it was even a thing. And then when it became a thing, oh, what a thing it became. It was a gross spectacle of how the media, American media in particular, just really can't get enough of Black women's pain. That they would loop this video of Janae Rice in her absolute worst moment, her most humiliating and degrading moment she must have ever experienced. That would just be on a fucking loop on the goddamn 6 o'clock news on fucking Sports Center. Very reminiscent of the way that the video showing Diddy brutalizing Cassie. Oh, let's just show that every fucking where. Let's show that on the local news. Just show it on the national news. Let's show it on goddamn TMZ. Let's show this woman of color, this black woman getting brutalized, because I guess that's entertainment for American mainstream media, but I digress. That's a whole nother story. But after the assault of Janae Rice, the Ravens behaved reprehensibly. They held this very public press conference where Janae Rice, the victim, had to apologize for her role in the incident. And that's when I was done with the Ravens, by the way. I was finished with the Ravens that fucking day when I saw that press conference. And I tweeted them niggas. I said, did you really just make a domestic violence survivor apologize for what? Getting punched in the face? I'm sorry for getting punched in the face and getting knocked the fuck out. Like, just absolutely gross stuff. So anyway, Ray Rice summarily got drummed out of the league. I'm not going to front. It was probably very, very tough time for the Rices. I'm not even sure if they're still together. But regardless, this came on my For You page on TikTok. And it surprised me because I said, oh, really? Oh, really? Oh, really? We'll go ahead and run that. Oh, wait. Did you look up, Will? When did that incident with Ray Rice and Janae Rice happen?
2014.
Damn. So it is 10 years ago.
Yep.
Sheesh. Thank you so much, Will. Okay, Will, you can run this package. It's from WMAR. Shout out to MAR Channel 2. I did used to work there, but I saw this and I'm like, you don't say. So anyway, go ahead and run that, Will.
I'm in 9th grade and get them on the right academic track, what we call the NCAA clearinghouse. We're not dealing with a lot of stuff coming 11th grade.
Former Ravens star running back Ray Rice may not be suiting up in the NFL anymore, but he remains connected to the game of football, this time as a coach and mentor of young men at Milford Mill Academy.
I'm a public school kid. I went to public school in New Rochelle, New York, and I know what the rhetoric is on public schools, and I want to help shape that narrative to something different.
In order to make the difference he aims for, he says he had to come back to Baltimore.
The reason why I moved back was because I felt there was just unfinished business, and it had nothing to do with getting back on the field. It had everything to do with about how being in Baltimore made me feel. And I've always felt genuine love being here.
Reporting in Baltimore, I'm Xavier Wary, WMAR 2 News.
So, given what I just outlined in terms of the reason that Ray Rice was no longer in the NFL, is it me or do y'all have questions about whether or not, and again, I don't recall specifically whether or not Ray Rice, well, look out for me. He wasn't convicted of domestic violence. He might have copped a plea or something along those lines. But to be quite frank, it doesn't matter if he was convicted or not convicted of domestic violence. Everybody saw what he did, right? And I have a question for you, chat. Should people who are, let's say, known, and I don't know if known also includes ongoing domestic violence, I don't know, but known, I think, succinctly encompasses past events, right? So, and I think it's fair to call Ray Rice a known domestic abuser, whether or not he's still currently abusing his spouse or partner, I don't know. But he definitely did that one time and that one day. And y'all, I don't know how many times a man has to beat a woman before he is considered to be a domestic abuser. I don't care if he just beat her the one time. That one time, you were a fucking domestic abuser. And a damn amazing one at that, right? Should people with that kind of stuff in their past be allowed to have proximity and authority over kids? And again, I kind of wrestle because sometimes of course I want the dirt bags to be deposited over the tallest cliff over the ocean. I want throw them all away, get them all out of here. But goddamn, every now and then I can't help but to feel, oh my God, and sometimes I know I be hard on the hoes. You know what I'm saying? But I I want these hoes to be better. I want these hoes to get out here and do better. And if Ray Rice has turned his life around, does he deserve another opportunity? I would say, yeah, he does. But does that opportunity deserve to come in the form of being in proximity and having say over kids, over young men in particular? And without, and again, not to take anything away from the WMAR TikTok journalist, who I'm sure was working with limited time and maybe didn't have the parameters or didn't have enough time to, add in additional stuff. But as a non-parent, but someone who is a parental age, well, I'm old enough to be somebody mama out here. Nigga, I got questions. Is Ray Rice gonna address what he was accused of doing to his partner, to these children? Like, are we taking time out specifically, Ray Rice, for you to point out the errors of your mistakes, why you lost your NFL career, why you are taking the long circuitous route back to being as part of the game of football, because they had ostracized you? And I think Ray Rice even felt perhaps it was a bit unfair because, hey, he wasn't the first, 20th, 50th, 250th NFL player. I'm sorry?
No, I was just agreeing with you. I was going to say that too, about his case was special. Well, not special, but like the NFL used him as they started making new rules, and they actually made that a public thing too about them mishandling that situation. And when they did that Mueller review too, they talked about that too, handling of that Ray Rice stuff. So
did you look up, did he plead? Did he take a plea in Atlantic City?
He was indicted.
I'm pretty sure he pled it down.
All charges were eventually dismissed.
Right.
He was indicted on third-degree aggravated assault, but later entered a pre-trial intervention program that allowed him to avoid a trial, with the charges eventually being dismissed. And Janae Palmer is now his wife, and I think they actually got married.
Yes.
Not too far after this happened. So
that's right. Well, Will, let me ask you a question. I mean, as an educator, am I fucked up here? Do I have this wrong? Like, if I knew that my son's football coach had in his past put hands on his partner, like, would I be fucked up to go to Milford Mill Academy and be like, the fuck is y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing?
No. I mean, this is definitely a different case because his I'm sure we all know, like you say, we talk about here all the time, how many educators and different people that are charged with doing these type of things, and we don't know about them. So with him, it's definitely something where it's like, we're going to see too, how long does he stay? If he even stays, if he makes it, they kind of announced it. What was it? Football season is basically over too. So it's like, does he even make it to that? And then also, is that something that is he ready to handle, being asked that? Because I'm sure that ain't going nowhere. And even his wife too, because she got to come to the school and he's like, hey, what happened with that? Or why, are you okay? Is that, that's a whole thing too. Their kids too, if they go there, I don't know if they have had or had kids. Especially if they had kids around that time, those kids are, they about to get, they about to be of age. So yeah, so it's a lot.
Thank you. Well, it is a lot, gang. And I'm trying to weigh people's legitimate right to have a second chance, and for redemption, and to prove that they are better people now that they've learned and grown, right? They had opportunity to learn and grow. So, Hopefully he's not a dirtbag anymore. And I do believe people deserve that space. But I don't think that you get to rehabilitate your image in proximity to children, especially when you were credibly accused of violence. Charges dismissed, charges whatever the fuck. Everybody saw the video. There's no question about what he did, no question it was him, no question that his partner did not do anything to antagonize, provoke, or deserve to get punched in the face, not once but twice. Okay. And I have to disagree with Milford Mill Academy. And it also kind of goes to show you like how far that celebrity currency can really walk you. You know what I'm saying? Ray Rice was a very popular Baltimore Raven. I mean, I met Ray Rice. I have Ray Rice's jersey. I was a fan. You never see me in the fucking jersey. Why? Because this nigga punches woman in the face. I can never wear this nigga jersey ever again in public, ever in life. It was over. But because he was a popular player, he's been given opportunity. And again, I don't disagree with opportunity. I disagree with opportunity in proximity to kids and what that says to the kids. So anyway, parents, I would like to hear from y'all in the comments. Football fans, survivors, everybody. leave your opinions about that in the comments. Is cancel culture real? Do people deserve a second chance? And do they deserve those second chances around kids? Anyway. So we are about 8:30 here. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on out. Thank you so much. Please like the video. Oh, don't forget a couple things. Whew, busy couple days over on Black Liberation Media. So tomorrow, join me. I will be on tomorrow for Women's Wednesdays with Jacqueline Lukebon and the Ear Doctor. So please wake up with us tomorrow morning for Wednesday. For the Remix Morning Show, please and thank you. I'm pretty certain, do a Kim Switch turn up tomorrow. So if you're following me on Twitch, please go set your notifications so you become aware when I go live on Twitch, which is usually in the evening, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, somewhere abouts in there. I have an idea what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to tell you. It's going to be a surprise. So please go set your notifications to check out Kim Switch Turn Up on Twitch tomorrow. And of course, Thursday for Classical Breakdown with the Ear Doctor and myself. We are focusing on women in hip hop because it is Women's History Month. That is Ear Doctor's idea. I appreciate Naka wanting to, proverbially put the spotlight on the butt cheeks, as it were. Shout out to all my DMV folks. If you got that one too, good for you. So we've got some music coming up next couple days, and of course Remix Morning Show next couple days. So if you're not already subscribed to Black Liberation Media, I encourage you please to go over there and do so you can stay apprised of all the things. Thank you all so much. Thank you to all my soldiers and my riders. Y'all heard them niggas talking shit about me this morning. I appreciate y'all not going for that shit. and I mean, everybody knew. Y'all knew what I was going to do when I came up there. Y'all knew niggas was getting cussed. Niggas was getting cussed and told about, and they got cussed and told about. But it's love. You know why I'm going to tell you it's love? Because the ableism there is not intentional and it's not malicious. I have had people intentionally say fucked up ableist shit to me about my disability, about my abilities and my inabilities and all that shit. I don't think that's what the bros was going for, but I do think that they are old niggas. Who say and do on occasion some old nigga shit from time to time. And ableism is part of that. Like, Gen X, everything was very casually ableist, right? And I know Kanye's got a myriad of shit going on, but for him to absolutely, with a straight fucking face, refer to anybody's kids, it don't even fucking matter to me. It was Jay-Z and Beyonce's kids. For Kanye to refer to any fucking child as an R word in 2023 Nigga need to be punched in his teeth, period, point blank. But again, that's that Gen X shit. That's that old nigga shit, right? And, you know, Kanye, intentional and malicious with that. Crack him in his fucking teeth, okay? My bruvs over on BLM, I guess he's, you know, I don't know. I don't think they know better, but we gonna learn them one way or the other. So anyway, I just want to acknowledge and shout out to my riders. You know what I'm saying? I know I appreciate that. Thank you all very much. So before we close on out for our palate cleanser, let me say this. This is not a funny feel-good palate cleanser. I normally try to leave us off on a high note. The best I could do today for the palate cleanser is that nobody dies. Everyone's alive, okay? But someone may have lost their job. And let's go to Houston, Texas, to the Family Dollar. And I caught this on, of course, TikTok. Caught this on TikTok, and it kind of struck a chord with me because, as some of y'all may or may not know, I have Afro-Latino neighbors actually on both sides. But I have Afro-Latino neighbors on both sides, but I only have dickheads on one side, okay? And these fucking dickheads, I have clocked them more than once, more than twice. I'm sitting outside, blowing tree, minding my motherfucking business. And you know, yo hablo poquito español. I'm not 100% fluent, but nigga, I get the gist of what the fuck is being said. Oh, nigga, I get the gist. And I clock these niggas talking shit about me outside on their porch, and I'm outside on my porch. And these niggas is talking shit about me in Spanish. I'm like, nigga, say it with your chest in anglais if we keep it in a buck. But there's layers to that. I'm gonna come back to that. So when I saw this video, I said, oh, I can fucking relate to this shit. Peep it. Houston, Texas. Afro-Latino bruv. Turns out he's Cubano, right? He's in line, minding his black ass business, right? I'm assuming maybe it's the Mexican sisters in front of him because it's Texas, right? So it's a Mexican sister working the register, and he is standing behind a mujer, a Mexicana in line. So he is behind a lady already being helped in line. Both of the women are Spanish speakers, but the lady behind the counter did not realize that hermano Cubano, they didn't realize that he was also a Spanish speaker. And the Mexican sister started talking shit about black people. So let's take it from there. So the first video is you're going to see the brother recording himself while he's talking to this woman after he has clocked the fucking racist shit that she is, or anti-black shit that she has said. And then the second video is kind of like his follow-up because, like I mentioned, this took place at a Family Dollar, and apparently Family Dollar saw his video and the corporate offices reached out to him, you know, to talk. So take a look at this.
All right. Let me give you a word of advice. Man, you got to watch what you say when you say it. Because this is what I'm saying. Because you don't know who speaks Spanish. Yo soy cubano, ¿me entiendes? Pero yo soy cubano. Y cuando habla la gente negra, estoy hablando de mí también. Okay, but I'm just saying, you need to watch what you say. Okay, I'm just letting you know though. When you talk about people, especially black people, man, watch what you're saying. I ain't recording you. I'm recording myself. I'm recording you now. So, you know what? That's what I'm saying. They be talking that shit Spanish, thinking people don't understand their ass. Yo soy cubano. Cuando hablando de mierda de negros, estoy hablando de mí también. So when you talk about black folks in Spanish, a bunch of them understand what the fuck you're saying. No, y'all talking that nigga shit Spanish. Yo soy cubano, yo entiendo. Cuando hablas esa mierda de negros, estoy hablando de mí también. All right, it's me, Chico Dion, Life on Volcanic here in Houston, Texas, and the surrounding areas. about the incident that happened the other day in Family Dollar. I will say that Family Dollar's head corporate people reached out to me this morning about the situation, and they told me that they would take care of the problem, you know what I'm saying, rid the problem. And I was trying to tell them that I wasn't trying to get the little girl fired. That was not my intention to get her fired, and it's still not my intention to get her fired. My intention was to try to wake her up by having certain conversations, especially at work, by us folks. You know, like the woman told me, she said, you know, black people ain't the only ones steal, white people steal, Mexicans steal. I said, yeah, man, because the stores on the counter, just in Laurel Cop in Houston, is full of dope fiends, black, white, and Mexicans. So don't say black people the only one be doing the stealing. And what happened was I was in line, a Mexican lady was in front of me with a little girl buying some tennis shoes, $4 or $5 tennis shoes. And she had some black ones. She asked the girl in Spanish, what about the white ones? She told her in Spanish, she said the white ones are for boys. She said I opened them up and I had to put it behind the counter because the niggas be stealing them. The black folks be stealing them, put it like that. She said los negros roban. She didn't say la gente roban. If she would have said la gente roban, that means the people steal them. Okay, but she said los negros siempre está robándoles. You know, the niggas, the black people be stealing them, you know what I'm saying? And so the Mexican lady in front of me, she knew I speak Spanish because she heard me talk to somebody on the telephone and had the phone on speaker. So she turns around and looked at me in my face. And then she turns around and she engaged in the conversation with her. Yeah, los negros siempre están robando la cosa. Oye, hay una tienda allá en que estos negros siempre roban la gente. You know, she like, yeah, the niggas, they be robbing, stealing from the store. And I was like, I'm sitting up, I'm biting my tongue, holding myself back to keep from going off. So when the customer burnt off with her racist self, as the video, you see in the video, I tell the little sister, I said, look, let me give you a word of advice. And you got to watch what you say and how you say it and when you say it. And I guess she's snapping. You know, like, did he understand me? So when I told her, yo soy cubano, that means I'm Cuban, you know what I'm saying? Yo soy Latino, Afro-Latino, un criollo, you know what I'm saying? Afro-Latino, Creole, you know what I'm saying? Now she's snapping, oh, this dude understood what I'm saying. Instead of taking in what I was trying to tell her, she was trying to debate the issue to let me know why she said what she said. And like the people at her own, like the corporate manager said, she shouldn't even have that conversation. Los negros siempre están robando. The black people, you know, if she just said like gente roba, you know, people be stealing, okay, but she significantly, she picked out and said, los negros siempre están robándoles, por eso yo puse atrás. The niggas, the black folks, they stealing, that's why I put the stuff in the back. And I'm just saying, my intention wasn't to get her fired, but like I said, you know, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say this to people, man, watch what you say, because you never know who understand you. Because we black, y'all must know your history. We was the navigators on the Spanish ships when they discovered the Americas, man. You know, Cuba, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Panama, it's a bunch of us everywhere. Criollos, Afro-Latinos, man. Louisiana, all over here, New York. I'm like, man, we black. And I won't give a damn. I'm going to say this in, especially to the Dominicans always talk about me no black. Man, you black. Dominican ain't a race, it's a nationality. And what they said, man, y'all stay blessed. Because that's what I'm going to do, stay blessed. Get back with you.
Couple of things there. First of all, that's all pearls of wisdom, okay? Like pearls of wisdom, especially for our Latino family, you know, the non-Afro Latinos. I need y'all to understand, and many people do, especially those that have been here. I don't know who amongst the Latinos don't get it, but in case nobody ever told you, when y'all come here, y'all are also los negros. The niggas. Y'all are the niggas. Y'all are the Rodriguez niggas. Y'all are the motherfucking Gonzalez niggas. Y'all niggas. I hate to break it to you. And if you don't believe me, go ask Trump and them. Okay? And let this moment in American history, let this moment right now in this administration that we find ourselves in, if we have people who are from marginalized groups, and you thinking that you're going to come here to try to assimilate yourself away from, you know, the lower dregs of the black folks and the mestizos and the indigenous, you think you're going to assimilate your way into whiteness, into MAGA. I hope the events of the past several weeks have revealed to you that that's a no-go, baby. That's a no-go zone, okay? You have underestimated the depths of America's racism, and it does not pay for you to be anti-black, okay? Now, I'm not well-versed, nor am I well-traveled enough to sort of understand the racial strata or the racial hierarchy of a lot of Spanish speaking and Latino countries, because when I was in Honduras, the black people look cool. they looked like they was doing all right. I mean, the brother told me, I was crossing the street in Honduras, and I'm trying to boogie because God, I'm black anywhere. I just assume someone is going to intentionally try to run me over. And the brother was like, no, black people here, to get respect here. You don't have to worry, it's cool. But I'm like, okay. So again, but I know that those nuances can differ from country to country. So I don't want to generalize or speak on the whole of Latin America, like black people are treated universally well or universally unwell. But in America, in Los Estados Unidos, I can tell you, black people not treated so great. Latinos also not treated great. Even the Latinos that was white from their original country, you see how they do little Marco. Little Marco is still the fucking DEI hire of that Trump cabinet, and it seems that they treat little Marco accordingly, and that's fine. Fuck little Marco, but you understand. So don't think that you being anti-black or being racist towards black people in America is going to win you any brownie points. It's not going to get your asylum hearing held any quicker. It's not going to do you any fucking good except get you called the fuck out and exposed for being a racist. And trust me, as a black person in America, I want to stand with and find solidarity with all folks, especially all non-whites, but find solidarity with the righteous, real left non-white or whites, that is. But it's hard to do that when I know people is out here still moving in anti-blackness. And I know one anecdotal experience at a Houston area Family Dollar does not mean that the whole of Mexicans in particular, or Mexican Americans in particular, are anti-black. But the current is there. The sentiment exists. How great or how small, I'm not sure, but we need to get rid of it at minimum, because again, you don't want to get called out when people clock you. Okay. And let me tell you, it's so funny that my bruv in the video talked about Dominicans in particular. And the funny thing is, when amongst the times that I clocked them talking shit about me, I saw the mother was referring to me as La Negrita, right? Which, okay, yes. Am I black and female accurate? Yes. Aren't y'all black and female though? Like I was really confused by the characterization. I'm like, La Negrita, like y'all black and y'all are more melanated than me. So what? So anyway, it's very irritating as a black person to hear Spanish speakers popping off racist shit. And I want to applaud the bruv right there for it really keeping us cool. He was much nicer about it than he had to be. And also, to be clear, in America, for folks maybe not from here, maybe y'all ain't been here a long time, and maybe you don't know, but I assure you, the whites still at rates that black people dream of, baby. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Niggas can come in that fucking Family Dollar and rob that bitch blind 4-5 times a week. It is a drop in the bucket to how much the whites be stealing in America. So please, again, non-blacks, non-whites coming to this country, your anti-blackness is not going to get you nowhere. It's not going to get you no closer to them whites. It's not going to get you no extra zeros on your paycheck. Maybe in the short term it might. There's a possibility for that. But at some point, you will become the new niggas, okay? And as you see, the MAGAs is trying to get rid of the new niggas. You know why? Because they can't understand you. They trying to get rid of the new niggas because they can't understand you. They want their old niggas back. They want their good old African Americans back in slave wages in the fields. They want their old niggas back, and they try to ship y'all new niggas away. But n'oubliez pas, don't you dare forget that when you come to America, you are just a new nigga. A new nigger. Hard R. Okay? All right. Good talk, everybody. I'm I'm glad we got that. I'm glad we got that cleared away. So again, thanks all so much. Shout out to Will and Molly. Thanks so much for all that you do. Please join me tomorrow morning, as I said, Remix Morning Show, 8 a.m. Black Liberation Media, and tomorrow afternoon/evening, Kim Switch turn up over on Twitch at BIDWKB. Please set your notifications. Love you guys to pieces. Y'all be easy. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Deuces.